Hey guys, welcome to episode number 465. Today is Monday, so it's update Monday, and I think it's high time that I do an update on the entire fish room, everything that's in it, and what the current projects are, and what the future plans are for everything. So, first off, what you'll notice is that these tanks are very, very cloudy. And that's because I just ripped out everything that was in the mechanical filtration barrel. This thing's been set up for about a year. I have not deep cleaned it, and what you'll notice, if you look down on the bottom, is that there is some detritus that is built up on the very bottom of that. And this barrel was 100 times worse just about an hour ago. What I did to help clear it up was I just took a regular pillowcase, I threw a submersible pump in this barrel, and I just pumped water into this pillowcase, sort of like a giant filter sock. And as you can see, there's plenty of stuff that it caught. So I did that once or twice, and that's helped tremendously. But in the process, while I was tearing everything apart, my pumps were on. It's a central filtration system. I did not turn the pumps off, and what happened was a lot of that fine particulate matter, it ended up getting pumped all the way through into all of my aquariums. So it looks like absolute garbage at the moment, but I also just scraped all the algae off of all of these tanks. So I'm hoping that by tomorrow all of these tanks will be crystal clear and quite a bit better looking. But of course, you get them on the bad day, because that's when I'm down here, and that's the only time I have to really film this stuff. So hopefully, if I leave this on maybe overnight, I might be able to clear up a lot of that particulate matter in the entire fish system. And then tomorrow I might just put the mechanical filtration back in place, all cleaned out, and hopefully that solves my issue for the time being. As you guys know, it's actually been about a year since I got these crayfish. I had a crayfish boil, crawfish boil, a year ago for my wife's birthday party, and I just got a bunch of these swamp crayfish. Ate most of them, but I did save, I would say 4 or 6. You can go back a year in my YouTube videos and check that out when I actually saved these guys. But they've obviously multiplied. I didn't really have anything in these tanks over here, so I just tossed them in these tanks. And so we've got 1, 2, and 3 tanks full of crayfish at the moment. Most of them are adults. I haven't really done a great job at separating them or growing them out, but there's a healthy sized colony in each one of these tanks. The Oscar is doing okay. He's in that back corner, and again, apologies for all the particulate, but I just was in this tank a minute ago siphoning the crap off the bottom, and he decided to go in the corner and hide. Some Oscars are really aggressive and try to fight you. This guy just hides and tries to play dead. So I did manage to get a large terracotta pot for him as sort of a safe spot. I don't know if he's quite figured out how to use it yet, but I think what I want to do is get some sort of like lighting diffuser and put that down on the bottom, and then take these pads out. But I didn't want the pot rolling around or smashing into the glass, so I've just got some pads around it at the moment. So I'll figure that out eventually, but he's doing okay. I have continued to periodically feed him the Beantown medicated food, and that seemed to work to clear up the issues that he had when I got him. So that's what's going on this side of the rack. I think what I might eventually do is clear out some of these crayfish, either give them away, sell them, something else, and make room for some more fish. But for the time being, that's what's going on over here. And if we go over to the other side, again, you'll see the water's hazy over here as well. I did put some endlers in this tank, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I tried to find some males that were more of like a higher red variety. So I do have 3 or 4 males in here that have a higher red pattern to them. So I might do a little bit of selective breeding with them. Might actually move them into these breeder boxes in a little bit, but for right now they're over here in this 40-gallon breeder. The Mexican mollies that I picked up at an auction a month or so ago are doing really well. A lot of them are very pregnant, and so I'm hoping to get quite a few babies from these. They're very, very healthy, and they're eating very well, as you can see. So I'm super happy with them. Again, apologies for the particulate in the water. The Limia vittata Cuban Livebearers, on the other hand, are not doing well at all. And there's actually an Endler in there with them that I need to scoop out. Endlers are doing fine. Mexican mollies are doing fine. These guys are not doing fine at all. What happened was, after I got them, I did not quarantine them because I don't actually have a quarantine system set up. And I believe that these guys either came in with some sort of parasite. They might have been a wild type fish, but they are not eating at all. They're not eating well at all. And as you can see, they are very emaciated, and they've dropped like flies. I only have a couple of them left, and it's really sad to see. And you know, I take everything as a learning experience. Obviously, I got these at an auction, so I don't know exactly where they came from, if they were wild or whatnot, or if they came in with anything. But you know, as a learning experience, I think what I'm going to take away from this is that this is the year that I absolutely need to set up a quarantine tank. Not only so that I don't have die-offs like this, you know, so I can treat things proactively, but also so that I don't introduce things into the system that I already have. Because if I have nice, healthy, thriving colonies of fish, I don't want to jeopardize those. So it's been a long time coming, and I think this is the year that I get a quarantine system set up for good. Nothing in this tank at the moment, nothing in the breeder rack at the moment, because I've been experimenting with a few things. I did have some fish in here, and I decided to move them out because I noticed that I was getting a little bit of scum buildup on the top. And if you can see here, there's a little bit of buildup on the surface, and that's because there's no surface agitation. The way these are originally designed is that an airlift tube pumps air and water up on this side, and it's constantly making a gurgling, bubbling noise, and it's disturbing the surface of the water. That's actually really important. That's why, it's one reason why air stones are so good in aquariums, because it can eliminate that surface scum. And so I'm having an issue with that in these tanks, and the reason being is because these tubes, these inlet tubes, are too far down. They're underwater, and so any surface agitation is sort of prevented. And so what I did, just as a little test down here, was I cut those shorter, and then I cranked the volume, the flow down enough so that I was getting instead of just a steady stream, I was getting a drip. And as you can see, that drip action is agitating the surface, and it's able to keep that water moving, and I'm really happy with the way that's turned out. Now the only downside is now I'm at the point where I'm trying to figure out how I can keep fish from jumping and how I can keep crayfish from climbing out of these if I don't have tops on them. And I guess the one benefit to having a longer tube like this is that I could put a top on it, and the water, you know, flow is secure, and it's, you know, it's not going anywhere. But if I put a top on this, there's a very good chance that that tube is going to drip on the lid and not make it into the container itself, and then I'm just going to get drips all over the shelf and onto the floor, and it's going to be bad news. So I'm still experimenting with that, still playing around with that. If you have any suggestions on what you think I should do to sort of remedy the issues that I'm running into here, definitely let me know. I'm wondering if there's a way to run the tube in a way where, you know, maybe I can get it in this channel here so that the water is like dripping in here. That would allow me to set the cover on top and you know, prevent any possible spills or leaks. But that's just what I'm thinking. Haven't really thought through it 100%. That's why there's still nothing in it. But once I figure it out, probably all of the fish in this tank are going to move over. Axolotls are doing really well. They're still not feeding on the pellet food, and they are looking a little thin this week. But I do feed frozen food several times a day. So they are finding that, but I really want to get these guys on pellet food. And basically what I try to do is every morning I try to feed pellet. They usually don't eat it, and I try to leave it in there as long as I can to force them to eat it, but a lot of times they don't find it, and so it starts to foul up the water. Then I have to remove the pellets, and then I try to feed them frozen food. So it's sort of a hassle. I'm glad that the weather's warming up, because I might actually try to go outside and just dig some earthworms and see if they'll eat those. I bet they'll eat those no problem. And so that might be an easy way to fatten these guys up and reduce the amount of frozen food that I'm feeding. So they're doing good in there. And then, of course, we've got the 300-gallon turtle stock tank, everyone's favorite project. And not a lot has changed in this, except for the fact that I had this beautiful plant, pothos plant, in here. I got it from the store. I transplanted it into this container temporarily with the thought that once it started to grow roots, I would toss it into the gutter system over there. But then, of course, what happens with any turtle tank is the turtles just stomped all over it, and it's looking pretty sad these days. So I might try to pull this out and see if I can save one or two pieces, see if it will start to grow back. But lesson learned, the plastic plants are going to be a much better alternative for the turtles, because turtles, they're just so destructive. They just don't appreciate plant life. And it's one of the reasons why I've never been able to really get into plants, because, you know, even with my good intentions, this is ultimately what ends up happening. So anyways, that's the quick spin around the fish room. I have a lot of projects that I want to get to here. Of course, the weather is warming up. That means the fish room is going to warm up as well. So I'm going to do my best to sweat it out, stick it out down here during the upcoming months, and continue on with all of my projects. As you guys know, I've always got plenty to do down here. Constant improvement. If you have any suggestions on what you think I should change based on what you just saw in this video, definitely let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.